what's happening? It's Saz here. So it's that time of the week again, Friday Feels, where we talk about The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 3, Monsters. Now, before I go any further, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. This video may have spoilers from the comic book series or theories that I've heard about. I'm not saying that they're true, but it might be stuff that you don't want to hear about. Also, we have this little guy. This is Doug, my pug. Say hello. Of course, when I decided to film, he wakes up. So he's going to probably be stuffling about. Say hello, YouTube. So Doug's going to be chilling with us today. Oh, you can't see him, but I do apologise if you hear him. So, are we all ready? You sure? Let's get straight into the episode. So it starts off with Ezekiel and his group. Ezekiel's holding the walkie-talkie, giving the speech, and yet I smile. I love it when Ezekiel talks. It just fills me with like confidence and like, yeah, everyone needs an Ezekiel in their life. And then it cuts to them walking in the forest and they get caught by the saviours. The creepy whistling's back, but then you realise it's kind of showing you what their plan was. And then the rest of the kingdom group come out and shoot the saviours. Jerry with a gun, can I just say, yes! Jerry with a gun. Oh my god, amazing. But yeah, they shoot the saviours and their first plan goes well. Then it cuts to Rick and Morales. And Morales is talking about that Rick is now a prize, so they don't have to kill Rick, the widow, Maggie, or the king, unless they have to. And then for some weird reason, Morales calls Rick Peaches. Don't know if that name's going to carry on, but that was just weird. So it's definitely not a good reunion as we thought it was going to be. Then it's back to the outpost where Aaron and their gang was. Tobin's alive! Yay! Tobin is alive! For now. We did get to see him. I did say in my last video that I wasn't sure if Tobin was still alive, but he's going well for now. Injured, but he's still going strong. Then they realise that the saviours have stopped shooting, but then they also realise that they're not shooting at them, they're shooting at walkers because the people that have been killed are now turning. Then it cuts to Aaron and Eric. Aaron puts Eric by a tree and Eric asks, how bad is it? Aaron looks and it has gone right through his side, but he does say there's an exit wound, which is good. Let's not lie to the poor man. It's not the best. It's not the best to have a hole in your side. But I just loved the conversation between these guys. It was kind of like as if nothing had changed. They were still sort of joking around with each other, and Aaron just felt so guilty and apologises, said, you didn't want to fight, I'm so sorry I brought you into this. But then Eric says, well, until I did. So he realised, look, this is what we've got to do now, so I'm going to be behind you 100%. Eric does want Aaron to go back. Eric says, I'm fine, leave me here, I can bleed well on my own. And then Aaron does go back and fight. Then it cuts to the saviours with Jesus, Tara and Morgan. They're all tied up and Jesus decides to take them to the hilltop. And he says, you know, Maggie will know what to do. Jesus said, no, we can't kill them. They are people, which I kind of get. I understand what Jesus is saying, that they are people, but it's what's got to be done at that time. You can't trust them. They all know what's happening. And as we see later, they do try to escape. And it's just going to be a whole big thing that we don't need to worry about. So I was kind of on Team Morgan at that point. Jared, oh my God. He's so annoying. So annoying. I was definitely behind Morgan. I would have just killed him then and there, to be fair. So Jared whistling away, pretending to be all happy, and Morgan stops him. Then Jesus kind of gives his speech about they're people we kill, but we don't execute. As Morgan said, he's executed. You can't, in the middle of a war, you can't be like, oh yeah, let's all be peaceful and happy. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So I'm not sure why now Jesus is turning like this in the middle of it. Whether it's kind of a balance of Morgan's personality, because Morgan was all life is precious, and Jesus is trying to kind of tell him that again, I guess. I don't know, but I was definitely with Team Morgan. Then it's back to Rick and Morales. Rick asks if Morales' family is here. Then we find out, which I pretty much thought Morales' family, his wife and his 2 children, I realised 2 children, a son and a daughter, they didn't make it. on the way to Birmingham, and Morales was just left in a trailer to become nothing, as he says. And the saviours do find him and thought, okay, he's worth saving. As he says, he is Negan because, to his point of view, the saviours are good people because they found him and gave him a shot, really. And Rick is talking about people that he's lost. Laurie, Shane, Andrea and Glenn. Didn't mention Dale. I thought Morales knew Dale, but clearly he wasn't mentioned. And mentions that Negan bashed his head in with Lucille, and then explains that the widow that they're looking for is actually Glenn's wife. Pregnant wife at that. You kind of see that glimpse of sympathy, but then immediately he's like, nope, don't make me have feelings. I'm still on a mission to get Rick to Negan. And then Morales realises that Rick's not the same person that he met, and realises that they're just the same. Rick is adamant that they're not the same. They kind of are. They kind of are, you know. Rick and his people have done just as many bad things as the saviours have done, and Rick's slowly realising what he's become, especially after finding Gracie and killing her dad, maybe. And Rick is adamant that he wouldn't be like that. He said he definitely wouldn't want to. He'd want to try and find another way to work things out without killing him. But then soon after that, Daryl comes in and shoots Morales in the head with his crossbow. Bye-bye Morales. Brought him back after 7 seasons, just for like 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes, you're done. Again, I didn't think he was gonna survive or be in it for any length of time. So it's kind of, oh, we brought him back, this is what happened, my family didn't survive, I'm now a saviour, bye. So yeah, Daryl has no chill. He's like, nope, to come in and shoot him, I know who it was, forget about it, where's the guns? Then Rick tells Daryl that Morales had called back the saviours to try and capture Rick, so they tried to escape, and just on cue, the saviours come in and they have to fight them. Then it's back to the saviours with Jesus, Morgan and Tara. Jared is quite happily talking to Morgan, saying there's something different about him. He mentions his armour, it's kind of shrunk, and then he twigs that it was Benjamin's armour. He said, why are you wearing that? It didn't do anything for the kid. That triggers Morgan, and he was going to shoot him. And then all of a sudden, they have walkers rolling down the hill now. I didn't realise walkers could roll down the hill. I could just imagine them going, whee, as they're rolling down the hill. And then that all kicks off. One of the walkers does get one of the saviours, and that changes Jared's tune like that. From laughing and joking to actually, oh shit, I am stuck. I am tied together with a bunch of my fellow saviours, whatever you want to call them, and now I'm trapped. So Jared says to his group of people that he's attached to let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, we need to find a way out. So Jared and his bunch of saviours run into the forest, and Morgan is on a mission to find them, does chase them and immediately shoots one of the saviours. Just about to shoot the rest of them, and Jesus knocks the gun out of Morgan's hand. Tries to reason with Morgan, saying, look, come on, there's people, we've got to learn to live with these people after. And Morgan is still adamant that they're the same either way. They've killed people, you know, Morgan's killed people, the saviours have killed people, they are still the same. And they've come here to do a job, and he needs to kill them. And then eventually we get the amazing fight between Morgan and Jesus. I didn't know what team to be on, because I like Jesus, I like Morgan. Jesus is trying to calm Morgan down, and I love it when he says, you're having a bit of trouble. Just like, you're having a little bit of trouble, let's work this out. But no, Morgan is still in fight mode. Then it's back to Rick and Daryl. Daryl realises he's out of ammo with his gun. Rick signals to Daryl, puts 3 fingers up, I think, and then shoots the fire extinguisher to then make the corridor all foggy, smoky, and Daryl was able to get across the corridor. Then finally we hear Aaron's voice. Aaron has come to save the day, just as Rick and Daryl are running out of ammo, and Aaron helps them out of the outpost. Then it's back to Morgan and Jesus. They're still fighting. Jesus eventually takes Morgan's stick and says, look, is this over now? Morgan takes back the stick, and I thought Morgan was actually going to stab Jesus in the throat, but he doesn't. It's like this close. Then Morgan sees Tara, Diane and the rest of the group that they were with, and it's almost as if he was in a trance through that whole fight, because all of a sudden he says, what? As if saying, oh my god, what have I done? And he says that he's not right, but that doesn't make him wrong. I think he is right, to be fair. I'm with Tara. Tara said, Morgan, you are right. In this circumstance, in the middle of a war, then yeah, you are right to kill them. But I suppose in Jesus' point, they haven't physically done anything to Jesus. Like with Morgan, they killed Benjamin. He was very close to Benjamin. So Jesus hasn't really had that feeling towards the saviours, whereas Morgan has. Then eventually Morgan is like, deuces, I'm out. He can't be a part of this anymore, and he just wanders off into the distance. What? Where's he gonna go? Then we're at the hilltop. Enid is on the lookout, and we hear a car horn, and Enid says it's him. Then we see Gregory. Oh, I can't stand that character at all. Can't stand him. He's like, open the gates, I need help, me, 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 me. Come crawling back. Eventually the gates are opened, like that much. Then Maggie asks what he's doing with Gabriel's car. And of course Gregory's like, I don't know who that is. The car was just there. Then Maggie says, what are you doing here? And Gregory's like, I live here. This is my place. I built this place. You weren't there for that. But I guess some of us don't just wander in or something like that. Oh my God, I would have slapped him or just probably killed him. But then Maggie comes back with a great response. Shut your damn mouth. A little bit too kind for my liking. I would have probably said something way worse. But then she confronts him saying, why did you try and sell us out? That's why you dragged Cal to the sanctuary, and that's why Cal left you there, because Cal realised what you were trying to do. Then we see Cal leaning over the wall and flipping him off and talking about pancakes. Don't really know where that conversation was going, but it just shows that Gregory would take anything, even off a little child. He would take anything just to please himself. Then Maggie's like, no, bye Gregory, goes to walk away, and then Gregory basically begs her to let him back in. Maggie's kind of like, no, that's not me, I'm not like that. So fine, let him back in. Enid wasn't too happy about that. She was like, after all he's done. But Maggie's like, he's not worth killing. Yet, anyway. So, again, comic book, he does hang himself, so I don't know if that would happen in the show. Anything can happen with the show, you never know. So I just hope that he does die this season, because he's so frigging annoying. Then Gregory does apologise, and notice he uses her name. Funny that he can remember Maggie's name when he needs to. Or when it suits him. Then Jesus comes along with the saviours, and Gregory instantly is like, nope, they're not allowed in here, I've seen what they can do, blah blah blah. And it was kind of, Maggie went into mum mode, and she was just like, Gregory, leave, go. It's like, I've got this, go away. And then Jesus says, look, there's 2 trailers out back, we'll keep them in there with, you know, guards 24/7 until this whole thing is over. Maggie's kind of like, you realise we've got children here, we've got families, and you realise what they did. And Jesus said, yep, I know what they've done, but they are people, and they surrendered. And to him, he's adamant, if they surrender, they're not fighting, so therefore they should live. Then it's back to Aaron. He goes back to the tree where he left Eric, and pretty much as we all thought, Eric is not there. He has died, the gun's still on the floor, and he's obviously turned. And he's wandered off into the distance with the other walkers, and Aaron is devastated. Bless his little heart, broke my heart. But Scott does come to see Aaron and says, look, that's not him anymore, and eventually takes Aaron away. Then it's at the outpost where Aaron was originally. Rick and Daryl come in and shoot the walkers, the saviours that have turned. And Rick is still taking pictures, and then he writes a note. I'm guessing, is that back to Dwight? Hopefully we'll find out what that note was. Then Rick finally comes out with Gracie. I knew Rick wouldn't leave the baby there. He speaks to Tobin and says, look, Daryl's on his bike, I've got stuff to do. Could you take Gracie back with either Tobin or Scott? Then Aaron says to Rick, look, let me take her. I'll take her to the hilltop. She'll be safe there. Aaron and Eric were going to go to the hilltop afterwards anyway to update Maggie. So I think that's kind of Aaron's anchor at the moment. Bless him, he's just lost Eric and he needs something to focus on, and hopefully Gracie can do that for him. Then it cuts to Rick and Daryl. Daryl's like, are you sure you want to talk to them on your own? And Rick is like, yep, that's how we get things done. Whether he means he's going to the scavengers to speak to Jadis, as if to say, look, this is what we're doing. Maybe that's what the pictures are for. You never know. Saying, look, this is proof. We're taking down the outposts. Negan hasn't got the power anymore. Join our side again. You've got a better deal this time. Who knows? So I don't know where Rick was going at this point. And then they are shot at. Rick then realises it's a saviour. He's on his own. He said, look, I'll make you a deal. You come out, tell me what I need to know. Then you can take one of the cars and go, you're fine. The saviour says, how can I trust you? And Rick says, you have my word. Not a lot of things matter in this world anymore, but a man's word has got to mean something. So eventually the saviour does come out, hands up. Rick asks where the M2 Browning 50 caliber guns were, which is guessing what I said in the note on my last video. I couldn't make it out, but something Browning, that's the name of the guns. And explains that the guns were at that outpost, but they have been moved to Gavin's outpost west of where they were, which then it twigged, where has Ezekiel gone? And his group. So I'm guessing that was where the guns have gone to. And again, Daryl is like, right, you've given us all we needed to know. Bang, bye bitch, bye. He has no F's are given with Daryl and he doesn't care what happens. At first I was like, okay, the guy was actually reasoning with, you know, playing by the rules. And Daryl's like, nope, don't care, bye. One less to worry about, I suppose, fair enough. And then finally it's back to Ezekiel and his group. He's at the outpost, they've killed all the saviours, and Daniel says to Ezekiel that everyone is accounted for. Ezekiel then keeps on repeating, not one of our ranks, not one. They mention that they're going to be there for a while, so Jerry goes with another member of the kingdom to deal with the saviours that are turning. I knew the confidence would run out at some point, had to. Then Ezekiel mentions to Daniel, look, it was them or us, it was the only way. He looks up to the window of the outpost, realises that saviours are inside, then all of a sudden just shouts, scatter now! And before you know it, the saviours are shooting at them and lots of the members of the kingdom go down. Then Daniel says, protect the king, and a few people jump on Ezekiel. That ending though, really? You're going to leave it like that? Oh no! In the meantime, while this is going on, Carol has gone to check out the outpost. So she's obviously stuck in the courtyard of the outpost. But Carol being Carol, she's badass. She can get out of that situation, no problem. I hope so anyway. So I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. If you did like this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. That would really help me out a lot. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to find out when I do more of these videos. So I will see you Tuesday for my episode 4 reaction. So I'm going to leave it there for now. And until next time, check you later.